Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, put your feet up. It's time for the Other Three Amigos podcast with Declan McCormack, Wayne Mullins, and Dan.
Three lads, one podcast.
On this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast, big news on Usher versus Usher. We find out Wayne is in cahoots with Tim Clancy. Which is worse, the state of the pitch or state of the stream? Team Pussy is no longer. We have a very full mailbag. And during the pod, live breaking news with the Munster FA's decision. All this and more on this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. From all of us here at TOTAP, sincere condolences to Colin, Aaron and Holly, and of course the wider family and friends of Kelly Healy. May she rest in peace. Welcome to the Other Three Amigos podcast, Season 4, Episode 17, Episode 193 in total. A reminder, we are your award-winning podcast. You can join us on Patreon, patreon.com/TOTAP. You can join us there from €5 per month, or if you want to help us out a little bit extra, but still get the same amount of shit you can give us at €10. Be sure to retweet, as it's so important to help the pod grow. Even the odd like here and there works as well. We're the proud sponsor of Jack Doherty's Boots. We are now at €100 for Marymount Hospice. Las Damas was released on Monday. We'll get to that in a sec, but I'll introduce the lads here first. Declan McCormack, how are you?
Very good, Daniel. And yourself, sir? How was your week?
I'm not so bad. Good. I was in Monaghan yesterday. It was a long trek up and down now. It was 4 hours from Cork to Clonus.
Yeah.
What a shithole of a town as well.
Okay, well, look, to all your Monaghan listeners on sportsjoe.ie, here he is, Dan Casey, saying nice things about Monaghan, Clonus. Wow.
Wayne, how are we? What's the anger level looking like tonight?
Hi, we're Daniel. How are we?
You seem happy.
I am. Look, I'm back to meet my two buddies, my two old chums that I miss so much.
Do you have any opinions on Monaghan?
I was there twice, both on the way to Ballybuffet, I'm thinking. We stopped in a town. I don't know what town it was, but it's Monaghan. Like it probably was. It probably was. This is back in the 90s, late 90s.
I'd say it hasn't changed much.
It's like Cavan. They're all the same, really. A bit like Longford, but Longford has Blazers at least. I think it still has Blazers anyway, and the Anvil, which is good fun. Again, the 90s, but I'm good. How are you, Daniel?
Fine. Dickie, how did the recording of Last Damas go last night? Can you give us any insight?
No, not really. I mean, there was no games to review, just bar the Ireland game against France. Had a look at that, had a look at the fixture in the Aviva on tomorrow night. Tonight's Monday night, so tomorrow night. Had a look at that, had a chat with Rachel Graham, who was a 5-time league winner, 5-time FAI Cup winner, and currently still playing with Shelbourne. So had a chat with Rachel, 20-25 minutes about Shelbourne's season, and they're playing Shamrock Rovers in a big derby on Saturday. So another interesting episode.
More Shells connections between our good selves at TOTAP and that football club.
Yeah, sure. Look, I mean,
myself and Paddy Barrett, best mates.
I saw that, yeah, and I mean, Duffer has them top of the division, and everything else. So look, I mean, the old secret Shells fans, Eileen must be happy anyway. Amongst, I don't know what I was going to say. Yeah, Eileen must be happy anyway.
How many clubs are supporting TOTAP now in the league? There's two that don't. We know that. How many have been in touch now with saying, "Well done, lads, great, love the pod," and 9 maybe?
Yeah, look, I'd be confident that 9 would talk. Now, to be fair, we did ask Shamrock Rovers to provide somebody for this week's pod, and all they said was that the timing wouldn't work. That timing wouldn't work. So we can't say they won't cooperate with us. It's just that the timing didn't work at this particular time.
Did we, TOTAP, offer another alternative time?
We did, but I was thinking afterwards, they may not have meant the literal time. It's just, there's a lot of things going on the women's side of Shamrock Rovers at the moment, and maybe they meant that the timing. No, they didn't. They didn't reply to the follow-up email, but that's fine. That's okay.
Jeez, that's
How many
twice now.
women's
That's twice
titles
now,
have they
Declan.
won?
Shamrock Rovers, none.
But I've seen Sligo
Why
Rovers
did they have the
it too.
stars? Why did they have the stars in their above their badge?
Daniel, it's one of the great unsolved mysteries, man. You maybe Sports Joe could look into it for us and ask somebody at Shamrock Rovers for an official comment on it.
But Sligo Rovers have a star too. I noticed today.
That's just that star signifies that they're the original Rovers, the real Rovers. That's the one real Rovers star. That's what that is.
Sexy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Wayne,
Yes.
it says here on the doc, we have big news. B-I-G.
No, it doesn't say that. It says email sent this week. Do we have big news?
Well, don't tease us like that.
Drum roll, please, lads.
Oh, hang on, 2 seconds. Hang on, no,
we actually have a drum. Oh, hold on.
Drum. Here we go. So.
Oh no! Sorry, that's the wrong one.
That's for the end.
I have it here.
Really.
I have it here.
Oh. We have no news. I'm sorry. They didn't reply. Look, they will. I'm convinced of it. Back to you again in a month. And look, we'll have something.
Maybe we need to try other forms of media. Just Instagram DMs.
We still have the backup, and it still works.
The phone number.
It's there. Like, if we have to use it.
At what point are we using this number? I mean,
the last day of the season, I'd say.
He's a busy man. This could take months to get to talk to.
Sure. Look, if he comes on next season, it doesn't matter.
Our under-17s drew 2-2 away to Treaty, conceding the last-minute equaliser. Hanover and O'Donovan with the City goals there. The under-14s drew 0-0 away in Wexford. And the under-20s game away to Treaty on Saturday was called off, as was the under-15s game at home to Watford. Lads, does the storm affect you at all? Storm Kathleen?
No, not really, to be honest. The only thing was, like, of course, Saturday morning, you just wake, 7:15. You can hear the young one just getting up, and you know she's about to kick in your bedroom door. And as it kicks in about 7:25, you hear the click of the power going off. And you're just like, timing is everything, like, you know. So, yeah, we had no power until, I don't know, sometime in the middle of Saturday afternoon.
What did you do for 6 hours?
It was my birthday, so we kind of had.
Happy birthday, Declan!
No,
happy birthday to you.
You're fine, lads. Thanks. So yeah, we were just doing bits of birthday fun, things like that. You know.
Birthday suit.
What's birthday fun?
Fun things with the child. Like,
dogging up the Mallow Road.
Stop! Yeah. There's plenty more of that to come in the WhatsApp messages in a minute as well. Jesus Christ almighty.
What's he called this week? Jesus.
Right. We'll move on to Commie Watch before we get ourselves in trouble here.
Commie Watch with Ivan Drago on the Other Three Amigos podcast.
What are we talking about first? The state of the pitch or the state of the fucking stream?
The pitch is more match than Commie Watch, is it?
I think it's all encompassing.
The stream, 4 years later and it's still shit.
The full-time club, the big club, we're massive. Wayne, we're massive.
It's ridiculous at this stage. Like, why can't we get a stream working? Every other club can. That's the question. Plenty of people getting defensive about it online, on Twitter, everywhere. Stop giving out and just sort it. You know?
Is it the case
What's
of
the
the
what's the
internet,
point?
or what is it like?
We've been over this. Jesus, when did we start this? Series 1? Did we? Were we talking about this since season 1?
Yeah,
Like,
it's the internet.
And they keep saying,
Series
we've
1.
improved it this season. We've done that this season. All we know is a certain person that got in touch with us said that they spoke with the club offering their help. And they were told we're grand. Or that was a couple of years ago. I think it was a couple of years ago. Am I right in thinking that? In this day and age, it's not really acceptable. There's there's even internet in Buin, for Christ's sake. And we can't get it in Turner's Cross? Come on. You know?
Decky, you're a man who's used to bad internet, to be fair.
I am. But look,
And you know what? Here's an invite. Here's an invite. No, here's an invite. If someone from the football club wants to come on to us and set us straight as to why the broadband is so shit and why the streams keep failing and why they keep skipping, feel free to get in touch. We're willing to put you out there, and you can tell it. You can shut me down. You can keep me quiet. You can shut me up and explain why. There's an offer now. Rubbish.
Oh, I love to see it.
Did he not say a quarter of an hour ago that he wasn't angry and the mood was quite good and happy and healthy? And
I'm
all
not
those
here.
things,
This isn't me angry. This is me saying no excuses. If there is none. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there was excuses, right? Using this shit system that didn't work. It's 4 years later. There is no excuse. Bad weather. The game was played. You know what I mean? There's bad weather now for the last 2 days, and we don't live out in Buin. It's Turner's Cross, Cork City. I'm sorry. There's no excuse. And yeah, you might be trying to fix it. When people just fix it. There's no point in taking money off people, not the club, but the FAI or whatever, but you can't even provide a proper, decent service. The quality
Clubs do get a cut of it.
The quality is shit anyway, but we get over that because we're paying 100 and whatever it is a year, 120 quid a year. Like, you wouldn't get that quality on IPTV for an illegal stream of the Premier League. So we're putting up with that. Just stop making excuses, and whoever's fault, whether it's Cork City, whether it's the FAI, whether it's the streaming company, the ISP, sort it out. Change ISPs. Change your cabling. Just figure it out. Get some professional in and do it. Simple, really, isn't it?
Yeah, Dickie, it's bad if we're there going on about how we're such a massive club, and that'll be written in all capitals now at some stage in the next while. It's like you can't even get the basic of getting a stream working when we do have fans all over the world. I mean, James Greenham put up his tweet asking for the stream to be fixed when he was giving a response.
Look, I mean, you're providing a service which people are paying for, and therefore there are certain standards that you have to reach. And like, obviously, I go back.
This
and
doesn't
watch
apply to ToeTap,
games
obviously, on the Patreons.
No. Yeah, I mean, other people are providing services, and they have standards they have to reach. And people know I go back and I watch the games, and it's quite clear that the stream is poor. You missed the first goal. Jack Doherty's just running away. And the other thing that's happened or annoyed me is that the streams obviously are used by the stats sites, and they run computer programs over the streams and figure out, the shots and who's had what shots and all that. And once the stream fails, the stat sites fail. And so that game on Friday night, there's no stats available from that game. There's no stats available from the Bray Wanderers game on Friday night because they had issues with their streams as well. So for the geeks among us, that side of things is annoying as well because, okay, we can get them off Wisecout and that, but look, it's handy just to go onto somewhere like SofaScore and pull them down, stick them in a spreadsheet, and you have all the data that you need. Look, as Scotty said, it's 4 years. We're still here talking about something we were talking about 4 years ago. You can stick Starlink on the roof of the stand, I presume, and get 200 megs instantaneously.
Probably Starlink is the cloud cover and stuff. You're better off having cable then. Yeah, it's back.
Yeah,
they should have backup. There should be a backup in place. I agree. A backup in place.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there's no reason in Turner's Cross. You're in the heart of Cork City. The whole place has fibre. It's cable. I'm out here in the sticks on a satellite broadband dish because I don't have fibre. It's not cable, anything else. Obviously, when things fail, my first port of call is my own internet, and then when my own internet is fine, it's the provider.
You have all the download collection there.
The club just need to do better. But I don't think there's any
Exactly.
will there to do better, because if the will was there to do better, it would have been sorted by now. So look.
Well, speaking of streams, there was one running down the middle of the pitch on Friday night. That's going to be, or that we always knew it would be a huge problem, but it really is becoming an issue. And I don't know how they're going to continue to play the women's games and men's games there. Wayne, I'll go to you here on this one.
Me again. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, again, it's shit. Like, it's their fault. They promoted the women to Turner's Cross. They wanted men playing in Turner's Cross. They know there's multiple cup finals and games in Turner's Cross. What do you expect if you don't have full-time groundsmen there? And I understand it's not Cork City's ground. But on the flip side, what's the point in spending all the money we're spending, which we are? Look, we're spending a lot of money on these wages we did last year. Credit to the owner, credit where it's due. What's the point in spending all that money if they can't play on the pitch properly, I don't understand that. I know you don't want to waste your money on the pitch because it's not yours. No, I'm sorry, you should, because it's where you play. It's the club's fault we haven't got our own stadium. It's the club's fault we haven't got our own pitch. So if you got the renting one and leasing one, at least if they're not willing to fix it or do the upkeep, we have to do it. Someone in the forum, I think it was Colin, was there someone said that they put 100,000 into the pitch? I'm not sure that's correct. I think it's 100,000 into the ground, maybe. That has to be clarified. But if we did put 100,000 into the pitch, and the state it is now, we just pissed away €100,000. You know what I mean? So either way, it's stupid. I would, if I had the money to do it, I would make sure that pitch is the most important part of our club, because there's no point having these ticky-tacky footballers if we can't play on the pitch.
Decky, what do you think the club should do in this situation?
I'm not sure there's a whole lot they can do. I disagree with Scotty there. I don't think the club bear any responsibility, really. I mean, they rent from the MFA. It's up to the MFA to provide a playable pitch. The first game of the season, it was absolutely clear that there was going to be massive issues for the pitch, not just for that game, but for the majority of the season. The penalty area on the shed inside is just, it could take 6 months of no games played on the pitch to sort that area out. It is, but that was destroyed the opening night. So then that brings you to, well, what was done in the off season? Nothing. So it seems to me like the MFA are just collecting rent money, doing nothing. There's no full-time staff there. There's no full-time ground staff employed by the MFA. Like, why not? You have a pitch that you're leasing out to the professional side in the city that have 2 teams looking to play on it weekly. The MFA is a complex organisation. It's very like the FAI in that way, and that it's made up of a load of different leagues who are all paying subs to the MFA to be members of the MFA. So they do have a duty to their own leagues, and those leagues have duties to clubs. So they're going to say, well, we have to play those cup finals there because we're under pressure from our members to do so. We're going to say, well, we don't really care about your members and your leagues and everything else. We're only interested in what Cork City can avail of. And that's where the problem becomes a massive problem, because MFA are trying to facilitate everybody, and it just looks like the pitch just cannot cope with the number of games that it needs to cope with year on year. And like the idea that the women's, which has been floating around, that the women's senior international against France could be played in Turner's Cross, like I couldn't see that happening. How could it possibly happen on that pitch in those facilities?
Not in a month of Sundays.
No way.
Can I just say, I'm not saying it's Cork City's responsibility, Declan. I'm saying is, if we're putting all this money in and we're trying to play a brand of football, the pitch is the most important thing we have.
We scored the most goals we did all season.
I love that kind of pitch. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying if what we're trying to do, it just makes no sense just saying, not our problem. To me, it doesn't make sense for all the money being put in to just leave it like that. I just think it's not good business sense. That's just my view.
Do you think the MFA are having us on for fools?
100% they are. They've done it for decades, Dan. They've done it for decades. And it's wrong. And Cork City are not wrong here. Let me just clarify that. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying if it's Dermot Usher is pumping all the money in, it just seems mad to me that it's kind of could be wasted. I know we won. But I'm just saying, if it gets worse, it's only going to get worse. Like, it's only going to get worse. And do you remember we had an Irish international game there, and they cancelled the women's game? Was it last season? And they had groundsmen in for a week before, and the pitch was immaculate. So they can do it, whoever wants to do it, but at least sit down and talk and just try and figure it out, because, Jesus, like, a few weeks, a player could get seriously injured. You got to look at player welfare too, you know?
Can I make a prediction? I made a bold prediction on Friday night after the game started that it would be called off, that the game wouldn't finish. And I was wrong, but I'm going to have another stab at another bold prediction. We're due to play Longford at home Friday week. So we're away to UCD this Friday. The following Friday, we're due to play Longford away, or Longford in Turner's Cross. And the Friday after that, we're due to play Finn Harps. Bold prediction, that Longford game won't take place in Turner's Cross.
Or be switched?
Absolutely no chance. I think it may well be switched to Longford, or else it'll be postponed. I also don't think the Finn Harps game will be played in Turner's Cross.
And we could be 6 points behind with 2 games in hand then. 5 points behind.
Or we could switch both games and go to Longford and go to Finn Harps and reverse the fixtures and play them later in the season. But it's almost impossible to see how those, like, it's just the state of the pitch on Friday night when the game finished. That's the other thing. Cobh pitch is ready now. Should have played there.
There we go.
That was it. That thought popped into my head today as well, but I was like, could we really do it?
And
could we rent Cobh's pitch
Cork
to
City.
play Longford at home?
Cork City, but I do think that we should have invested something to at least try and get the pitch better.
In Turner's Cross?
I think so. I think employ someone yourself, a couple of £100, try and get at least. I don't know. I'm just saying I wouldn't just leave it up to the MFA, because it's not going to get fixed.
Yeah.
Just blowing away a lot of money, you know, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, we have Eileen Ring, of course, as part of the Three Amigos contract on a big contract. But the Rappers, lads, they're fighting back. Mick Ring will be on their podcast this week. Decky, what do you make of this? I don't know, new story.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, we're probably just left the cat out of the bag there now, because as far as the club are concerned, Mick doesn't have a sister. They know nothing about it, you know. Yeah, look, Mick Ring's a legend. All the Rings are legends, to be honest with you. Family steeped in football history in the city.
Happened again this week, lads. Do you know what happens? And I figured out it wasn't my little fella who did it. When our pod finishes, it goes straight into the Rebel Army podcast.
Yeah.
So this football official podcast is getting our listenership. So what we need to do when we finish our pod, right? No, when we finish our pod, we end it, but we give another 20 seconds at the end. So it gives time for people to hang up and not listen to their podcast. So do you know what we'll do? We'll play a song at the end, and someone picks a song, we just play it. So it gives people time to stop listening, and then it won't fumble into the next podcast.
And you know what else? They're absolute chicken shit if they don't take us on foot golf either.
Can I just raise another point there with Mr. Mullins now? Because what I have found is when podcasts, you know, when I'm in the car and I'm playing a podcast and the podcast finishes and another one automatically starts, it's a podcast that I have frequently listened to. So, you know, say I listen to our podcast and Top Tap finishes, it might start playing League of Ireland Central, or it might start playing, there's a couple of American history podcasts I listen to and things like that. So to me, the fact that...
What do you listen to?
Podcasts
on American
back there
history.
A second.
Why would you just do podcast on American history?
Because I like American history.
They're like, what,
what's your favourite part of American history?
No, lads, no. We're not going down this road, no.
Here, come on.
No, I'll go back now to what I was talking about. So what the point I was going to make...
You can't just leave it like that.
You cannot.
It's American history, general American history.
Yeah, American history is about 200 years old. Like, what possibly could they have that's vitally important to fucking Declan McCormick's life on a random Tuesday?
But it's not vitally important to my life. It's just I like history. I like all history. So I listen to a podcast about American history.
You're a Confederate, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm most certainly not a Confederate. Most certainly not.
He has got a grey jumper on as well.
You probably want to build a wall around Mexico, do you? Around the borders, I'd say.
Most certainly not.
Are you one of those lads, do you?
If I was in the States, I would be a I'd be a Democrat.
If you were president, what would you do? What would you do if you were? What was your first two things you do if you were president of the United States of America?
The first two things I'd do if I was president of the United States of America. Oh my good God! For God's sake, what kind of?
You'd be illegally in there anyway. That's another story.
City, like, you know.
That's fine. They listen anyway. It's grand.
I don't know. I don't know.
For Turner's Grass.
Yeah, you know. Get the CIA to throw Trump out of a helicopter or something. I don't know. Yeah. And then all the undocumented, go on anyway. All the undocumented Irish over there, sign them all. All the undocumented Irish over there sign a bill that makes them all legal, and none of them have to go home anymore. They can all stay there legally. Look, we're gone completely. I don't even know what I was saying. No. So just move on. I have no idea what I was saying.
It went from we were talking about
I
the
was
rappers.
saying to Wayne that the fact that automatically played the club podcast to me indicates that he is on the sly a frequent listener to said podcast.
On the sly. I am not. No.
I think.
I listen. No, it's good. I think it's a good. I keep saying, why do we have to explain ourselves every fucking week? It's a good platform, right? But I just don't like it. All right. Several people online and the internet.
Did you secretly hate listening to it? Be like,
no. If it was something on it, I'd be interested. You know what? I'd probably listen to Mick because I think the different jobs he's done in the club, I think, could be quite interesting. Probably listen to it. I listen to it. No. You know what? I won't listen to it because I don't like it. All right. Stop asking me these questions.
A game review: Cork City 3, Queenstown 0. Pitch an absolute disgrace, but a much better performance. Decky, we got over that 2-goal threshold.
We did by playing at a higher tempo. I think it was all about tempo. The move to play Evan McLaughlin as a left back worked quite well. Gave us a bit more go forward from that full back position, but as I said, like the pitch was so bad that it's the one game. If we had won 1-0, nobody could have given out about. You know, we would have all just went, look, great to win on that pitch. Delighted with a 1-0. The fact is our best performance, and by far and away the worst conditions of the season, says a lot. And hopefully, for me, that's a benchmark that they shouldn't fall below again. You know. They played very well. Jack Doherty played very well. You know, Evan McLaughlin was outstanding, I thought. Harry Nevin was quite good from the right-hand side. Barry Coffey played well in the centre of the park. Actually, who was it? Somebody was very upset that he wasn't in the MVP.
I can't remember the name, but I've seen the comment.
It was the Dogger Barry. Was it Dogger Barry, actually? Yeah,
I think it was.
Upset that he wasn't in the MVP. Greg Bulger was quite good in the centre, but I think it was the tempo. I think we played at a much higher tempo and pace than we have played in other games so far this season. I know there's no excuse not to play at that tempo again and again and again, and it just shows. Like as I said, Cobh had come into this game having scored in every game. They could be there till now and they wouldn't be after scoring. You know, just. We're so far ahead defensively. It's frightening, you know. And hopefully the shackles are going to come off now and it'll just be go, you know. And I'm looking forward to it all of a sudden to the rest of the season.
Do you think this is, I mean, pun intended, the watershed moment for City this year?
Yeah, look, I mean, like watershed. Look, watershed is probably a bit much, to be fair, but as I said, there was a lot of very, very good signs about that performance, a lot of encouraging signs. Like Tim Clancy said afterwards in the media that the club put out, that maybe he felt that people were presuming that we could just turn up and win. And he was talking about the fan base, and he's quite entitled to say that and feel that way. And he's probably right. We are And he's talking about, we have to, as a club and as a team, and we have to respect other sides, and we have to be aware of the dangers that they can cause us and everything else. And all that's true. And any coach in any league in the world will say that. But fans don't think that way. Fans look at the league, look at the clubs in the league. We've played everybody once, so we've seen every team in the league. And fans are just like me, like Scotty, like you, Dan, like people on the forum, everywhere else are just going to go, lads, come on, rest of this league is shit. It's time to step it up now and start not burying teams, but, playing a better brand of football, winning more comfortably. And I think, as I said, the two things on Friday night were the tempo and the ability to get forward that Evan McLaughlin gave us at left back. And hopefully we'll stick with those things and push on.
And what's that benchmark you're, I guess, looking for? Is that blowing away teams 4-5-6-0?
No, I don't think it's about 4-5-6-0. I think it's just about, listen, we believe we're the best team in the league. Everybody else believes we're the best team in the league. I mean, if you look at the league table now, already a quarter of the season in, and I think Finn Harps are probably the only side in the league, bar ourselves, who believe they can win the league. They're 3 points behind us, having played the same number of games. UCD are 7 points behind us, having played the same, having played 9 games as well. Treaty are 10 points behind us, but they have a game in hand. So everybody else will be at a minimum 7 points. Wexford, if they win their 2 games, okay, will be 4 points. So maybe Wexford and Finn Harps, already 9 games in, are the only 2 teams in the league who think we can win this league. If we go and beat UCD on Friday night, absolutely UCD wake up on Saturday morning believing they can't win this league. If we beat Finn Harps the following week, Finn Harps then believe more than likely they can't win this league. So we could be 11, 12, 13 games into this league and no other team in the league believes they can win it. So then you just go play your football. You just go out, you win games. I know you won't win every night. I know you won't score 3 or 4 every night. But you should go out believing that you can. And you should go out play a type of football that says this is what we believe and we believe we can. And of course it won't work every night. And we understand that. And we know that. But there was performances that didn't live up to the expectation of fans, is probably the way I'd put it.
Wayne, you made a face.
Yeah, I was fundamentally satisfied by the result. I do think that Cobh were very poor, and I think they stood off us a lot, which gave us a lot of space. And when the pitch is that bad, I think it helps a lot. I think if they were gotten stuck into us, it would have been a lot harder to win. We won 3-0 compared to Wexford. It was night and day. I wasn't here. I wasn't here for the Wexford game. I was at it, and I wasn't a happy man leaving. I really wasn't. It was diabolical stuff. Like, I was standing behind the dugout for the whole game, and it was just, I couldn't understand what was going on. It was just so bad. This was a different performance, and there was more passion, there was more determination, there was more communication, there was more, and it was just an old school win the game, get out of there. As Dickie said, I thought we played well. Bolger played well. He was brutal against Wexford, absolutely brutal. I think having attacking fullbacks, having McLaughlin there was actually a decent call as well. So I think, all in all, 3 points, 3 goals, you can't really complain. But it couldn't have been worse than what it was the Monday before, because that was absolutely shocking.
What do you make of Deckie's sentiments that we're the best team in the league? We believe we're the best team in the league, and the other teams.
Of course we do.
We
we even think it. Like, we're just trying to find.
Oh, we know it.
We know, but there is issues which hopefully they'll be sorted out over time. But as I said, we're 8 or 9 games in. Now is a time we have to pick up performances, and we have. I think we've got a diamond in goal. I really do. I know he hasn't been tested a lot, but when he has been, he's been ready. Mm-hmm. We've had keepers before.
Yeah, it'd be easy for him to switch off if he's not getting any balls.
Absolutely. I think we've had keepers before who just switch off. He's been on the case all the time. Yeah, I know Finn Harps, he had a bit of a howler, but he was doing what Caoimhín Kelleher did for Liverpool yesterday, was it? He was off his line. So what could he do? He's playing a super keeper system, I suppose he was playing. But yeah, he's a serious acquisition from nowhere. So fair play to whoever spotted him, Tim Clancy, Jamie Hamill, whoever it was. It's a fantastic signing, and I think Cian Murphy should be starting up front. I know it's mad, but I think Keane Murphy is the only 9 we have, and he has to start because he does things that other players can't do. When I said to start the season or even mid-season that I'd rather have a shit number 9 who can play number 9 than a very good player who can't play number 9. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Because he knows where to stand, where to use his strength, where to
does Wood not?
Pass the ball. No. I think Wood's a decent player out wide. I do. But up front, yeah, as a backup, I wouldn't have him as number 9. I'd have him like number 9B, 9.1.
Well, it's kind of the case of Wood. He had the brilliant game the opening season, and we thought, Jesus Christ, we're onto something special here.
Well, I don't think he's rubbish.
And ever since then, it's been a bit of a...
he's not the worst.
Bit of a dampener.
He's not the worst of him, I don't think. I don't think he deserves to be dropped. But then again,
I can see Decky's smirking. He's thinking of some one-liner here now.
Oh, we already had this conversation 2 days ago. Like, I think Declan, he had an opinion on it. I thought he was extremely harsh.
Decky, are you willing to share that opinion once more?
I don't think he's pulled up any trees. Yeah, we all raved about him that first night against Kerry. And this is what I was going to say about Cork City as a side as well. Just doing it once, okay, like we're sitting here now, we're saying we were great against Cobh on a very bad pitch, and we were. But now we need to put it back to back. And then we need to put 3 games together, and then we need to put 4 games together, you know? Just one standout game every so often isn't going to thing. And I hope we do it against UCD again, because I don't want to come on next week and be giving out again about a UCD performance, because then we start to look very Jekyll and Hyde-ish. Like, you know, it's like, oh, they were giving out mad about the Wexford thing, then we were brilliant against Cobh, then they're saying would they ever make up their minds? Like, you know, well, we can only react to what we're watching and what's put in front of us. And as I said, I don't think Nathan Wood will be here beyond the summer. I think he's going to find it hard to get back into the
Is that insider
11.
info? That sounds like insider info.
No, it's not. Look, and here, this is another thing.
Can I jump in there? Sorry, now. Can I jump in?
Yeah, do.
Do you remember what happened last year with the transfer window? Nathan Wood's fit. Yes. He's fit. He's match fit. He's match sharpest. We cannot get rid of a player who's match sharp with a squad like this. Fair enough. If they have 4 or 5 players lined up, but history shows we fucking don't have them lined up. I would not be getting in 3 or 4 players who are not fit. Keep it who it is. Bring in 2 or 3 more, and hopefully they work their way into the squad. We cannot be signing starters now. This is it for me. We cannot get rid of players now.
Okay, but Scotty,
let's not do these things 2 years in a row.
You've got to remember that, and I was just going to say, I think he's going to find it hard for him to get into the starting 11 from here on in. So by the summer comes, his loan is up. Will he want to renew if he's not starting, etc.? I doubt it. I think it would be just kind of a natural parting of the ways, because, as I said, Bagsy's obviously going to stay in the side. Absolutely, obviously going to stay in the side. And Cahill, I think, is better starting on the left because he's left-footed than he has been on the right. So I think Nathan will get minutes, but I think he's going to struggle to start regularly. And then I think he's going to look at it and say, this loan isn't really benefiting me because I need to be starting. So he'll probably head back home in the summer, I would imagine. No, look, Dan's roaring about inside info. This is just me musing again on my own thoughts, just on Bagsy. The fact that
you
Bagsy
muse an awful lot.
And this is one of the things. I did a piece last week that never went out on the pod about what would happen if Stephen O'Donnell was sacked at Dundalk. And would Tim Clancy be in line, or would be consideration for the Dundalk job? And I was talking to Eileen afterwards, and Eileen was like, I know you're talking off your own opinion and everything else, but if you put that out, people are going to presume that you have inside info or that you're talking because you know something. And no matter how many times you say that you don't have insider info, then they're just not going to believe you. And I was kind of saying like that I think Tim Clancy would be in the running for the Dundalk job if we were 20 games into the season. Now, as it turns out, Steve O'Donnell has gone after 9 games or 8 games for Dundalk. So I don't see Tim Clancy going or moving on. But as I said, anyway, I'm going down avenues now I don't need to go down. But Bagsy. Right. Bagsy's attacking that end line continually and getting balls into the box. We're a different side, because when he drives to the end line, he pulls everybody 5, 6, 10 yards further up the pitch, you know. And the balls that came in, Barry Coffey's running onto the ball, Jack Doherty's running onto the ball, and they're finishing chances. And that's not something we had. And again, it's something we spoke about. I said, what kind of a team are we? And we're clearly not a beat the full back, get to the end line and get a ball in the box type team. But we were in the first half against Wexford because Bagsy gave us that. Bagsy gives us that again the other night. He got 2 assists in the first 13 minutes from doing it. So that's a big plus as well. Because as I said, when he's driving to the end line, everybody gets himself 5 or 6 yards further up the pitch. He's getting those balls in, and as I said, Coffey's coming onto it, Doherty's coming onto it, Greg Bulger will come onto one some night, Evan McLaughlin will come onto one some night, and so in this division, Bagsy's an asset to have back in the side, thankfully.
Just on, I suppose, the whole Dundalk situation. Do you think there's any chance at all that Tim goes?
The head drops, look at him.
Way closer back home. It is. I don't know how. Like, what's Dundalk in Dublin? An hour. Like, Cork City is 3 hours every day.
Would we be shocked if it happened?
Could you blame the man particularly? I think it'd be a bad look, but it's so much closer to his home and his family. At the end of the day, you'd see sense after.
No, I wouldn't blame him. No, I really wouldn't. This is what you get when you employ someone from a different region. It's like someone in the UK. It may not be for them. Would I be annoyed? Of course I would. I think he's going to be a fantastic manager for us. I think he is. I think he's just learning about Cork City. It's a far bigger club. As Decky said last week in the pod, it's a far bigger club than anyone he's managed before. Would I blame him? No. I'd understand, actually. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Again, this is just us saying, like, opinions.
Yeah, I don't think any fans would be initially angry, but I don't think there'd be any true resentment there once they started really thinking about it.
Who's our new manager?
Decky. Well, what is your opinion on us? You put the head straight down there.
Yeah, I know, because I don't. As I said, if we were 20 games into the season and we were still unbeaten and we were defensively brilliant, I think he would definitely be in the running. I think the other thing is that Brian Ainscough, who owns Dundalk, walked out in Kerry at the end of last season, ended up in Dundalk. You reap what you sow and all those things. I don't see him employing somebody from this country. I think he's going to go and get a failed League 2 manager or a failed League 1 manager or something like that, and bring in maybe a name more so than somebody who's capable of doing the job. Barraclough wouldn't qualify as a failed manager, no, to be honest. But like, I saw Dundalk fans today saying they're £1 million in debt. Now, I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what was being said. I said to you guys on last Friday or Saturday when Dundalk fans online were talking about Vinnie Port being the one to come in, that they should get Vinnie Port back. It's like, lads, they're goose when they're talking about Vinnie Port being the saviour. Like, I think somebody will sound out Tim, because defensively we've been very, very solid, and that's what Dundalk have been lacking. They've been all over the shop defensively. They can't score, and they're all over the shop defensively. But I just think Ainscough will do something mad, or a tendency to do something mad. No, it doesn't really worry me. But if he was offered it, look, I mean, Scotty's hit the nail on the head. Family is everything, and he's living away from his family, and it has to be hard and it has to be tough and all those things, so I'm certain he'd give it a lot of thought. But from a footballing point of view, you wouldn't go near it. From a family point of view, you probably would. So that's then what would have to be weighed up,
Yeah.
Surely they wouldn't sack O'Donnell unless they had someone in place. Or I know we did it. Did it, but that's Cork City. But surely they've someone ready to go.
But sure, they're the complete mirror image of us last year. Change of ownership.
It's 9 games in. I'm supposed to say
change of ownership, late signings and everything else, and it's a squad that is clearly not good enough. We were defensively better than them, and we scored more goals. But the similarities are uncanny. Yes, they've sacked O'Donnell 9 games in, or 8 games in for them. I think it was 15 when Colin left, and we didn't want Colin to leave. But we had a bit more structure and a bit more going for us. We also had a UCD, which they don't have, and that's a massive issue this year for them. we were only ever going to finish second bottom last year because of UCD. They're in a world of trouble. Like, and if they are £1 million in debt and they have an owner who they all welcomed with open arms, who walked out on a club that he set up and went to Dundalk, and I looked at this and I said to you guys, like, how would you welcome him, man? Because he'll just do it again. He's like, leopards don't change their spots. Like, if they're £1 million in debt, is he putting that in to pay off the debt? I don't know. It just looks like a basket case, and you don't feel him one bit sorry for them. Not one bit.
But you've been saying this since in the last year that Dundalk were in shit.
Yeah. But all the shit they've thrown at us down through the years, you know?
They were never going to be a club that could survive at the top. They've got no fan base. They have a small town and a rubbish, terrible ground. And no matter how bad we are, we have a fan base. And we have a history of good attendances. And we have a catchment area that can actually bring more in. They have none. And I said it for years. They were on a roller coaster and they're going down now. And Dundalk have always been a side that went up and down. They've been similar to Drogheda. A bit more, obviously, they've won more league titles. But in the 90s and 2000s onwards, they've been up and down. And they're going back to that again. And good riddance to them.
Anything else? Any more digs, Dick, you want to throw in Dundalk before you wrap up?
Yeah, we'll pass them as they pass down. We'll wave at them from the elevator as we go up. Yeah.
Our MVP nominations. Jack Doherty in first place with 40% of the vote. Second was Bagsy with 22%. McLaughlin third with 19%. And Harry Nevin fourth in 17%. Colm Nolan says the pitch for making the full 90 minutes. Duncan Noonan says Mick Ring robbed for the job he'll have to do. And Garrett, I don't throw flares Barry, formerly Garrett the Dogger Barry, says coffee, question mark. Are people putting up the nominations at the match or at home watching it on shitty LOI TV? Ooh.
Shots fired.
Oh. Garrett the Dogger Barry.
Can I? Well, he was very odd. And can I just say we never really comment on the results of the MVP and whatnot, but I have to say I thought Evan McLaughlin was absolutely robbed to only be third in that vote on Friday night. Like, I'm not sure what more he has to do to pick up 5 points or at least 3 points, like, you know.
Doherty just says the sexier name now. Probably part due to this pod, like.
Yeah, very true. Actually, that's just something popped in my head there now as well. Evan McLaughlin was booked on Friday night, so he's on 4 yellow cards now. So his next one will result in a 1-game suspension for Evan.
There's Nathan Wood back in the team.
Right, are we happy enough to go to the 2-word answer?
Yeah, I go for it.
Damien Shreenan says Magic Mick. Jack says pitch ruined. David Crowley says moist. Billy Darney says more please. Boring Keith Coleman says dirty balls. Billy Darney says sunshine lollipops. Brackets deserves more than 2 words. They were magnificent tonight in determination, grit and balls. The Rebel Hippie says Summer League. Stephen Burke says poor Kitman. Shauna Manning says dominant performance. Wayne Mullins says Murphy. Here, how would you pronounce that?
It means Murphy 9. Just say Murphy 9. It's Czech. It's fine.
Dive. Why are you trying to put Czech stuff in?
That's what
What's
I've done.
the connection? Is there a connection?
I did Italian last week. I did Spanish the week before. I did German before that. It means no 9. I know we have a 9.
Eileen Ring says poor Rick. CCFC Translated says massive stream. Duncan Noonan says fundamentally flooded. Tony Tobin says dirty night. Ball Sean says Queenstown Shamblers. Dr. Raven says course correction. Richie Hadlow says Paddy Field. Wandering Angus says soft day. Magpie says Mudbat. Joel Wamsley, Bagsy's back. Philly Crowley says bog standard. Ben Hamblin going up. Brian Stinky Stream. Jamie jacked off. Liam Roach fundamentally satisfied. Roy O'Sullivan fundamentally soaked. Thomas says mud wrestling. Colin says goals. Betting Bros NC says Mucky Box. Cork M says Unreal Murphy. Dave McCarthy says Derby County. Fiona C says Otter's Pockets. SVG says much better. Joe Langford says Ramblers routed. Owen Donovan says Barry Cappuccino. Linux Pizza says Muddy Marvellous. Luke O'Brien says brilliant Bargery. Jack Eller says Murphy time. Probably Fergus says fundamentally damp. Sweeler says Division 1. Garrett, I don't throw flares. Barry says fresh jerseys, question mark, question mark, question mark. Ian Crowley says Mick Ring. Scott, CCFC FC says F and Soak, and Pat Healy says next game. Podrick says mucky boots. James Greenham says Howie out. Anthony O'Sullivan after their little spat. Anthony O'Sullivan says I can't do Irish. I can't even do Irish. Don't mind check. Fluck bata, but beta. Dentist in Derry says Evan McLaughlin. The Donny Ford Ultra Mega Sergeant Platoon says happy yet? Question mark. CCFC Kid Collector says Bagsy Kid. Anthony Falvey says Evan McLaughlin, fire emoji. Brendan Daly says Bradley Wading. Chris Crowley says Fluckin' hell. Creepy Pasta Goblin says anal fisting. BHAFC says f*** off. Anything you want to pick up on there, lads?
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't in future read out the ones that are clearly there just to make you say rude words or...
I don't care. Dick, have you seen many monkey boxes on dodgy streams?
Not on dodgy streams. No, I don't watch dodgy streams. I pay for LOI TV.
You pay for Sky Sports?
HD.
I don't watch Sky Sports.
Legally?
Nah. I don't know. I don't want to.
That's that.
But it's like, there's nothing I can say now because Scotty has this predetermined idea. Also, what's like genuinely, where is this? Like, I know I said fundamentally disappointed as a couple of weeks back, and no, half the responses there are fundamentally something or other. Like, I mean, it's
because we're massive, Declan.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just,
bicep
weird,
emoji,
like,
bicep emoji,
it's weird
bicep emoji.
It's weird when you hear your own stuff being thrown back at you. You know. It's nice, but it's weird as well.
Speaking of which, any deck picks come in, Wayne? Are we just flogging a dead horse with this deck picks thing? Well, we'll find out after the break. We'll find out, all right? So that concludes the end of the first half Toe Tapper. Come back to us. I left him on a cliffhanger, you see. Come back to us in the second half. We'll have You Say It Best, a game preview for UCD, Panenka Patrol, and we'll get we'll get Gok Wayne's opinion on Clancy's jacket situation in Wexford.
Hey, Toe Tapper. As you know, everything is increasing in price. Extra small clothes, anger management classes, raw liver is the same price as gold. And kids' sweets used to have 20 per pack and now only have 5 in each one. And Jack Doherty is on course to score 100 goals. And he's going to bleed us dry. We need you to help the gang by joining our Patreon for exclusive pods, news and much more. For $5 a month, you can ensure that Wayne doesn't smash up his laptop, that Dan has really small clothes, Eileen is satisfied and Declan gets lots and lots of jellies. Head to patreon.com/ToeTap to support the cause.
Welcome back to part 2 Toe Tapper. We now go to probably become my favourite segment here on the podcast. The only good segment, I would say. It's You Say It Best.
You say it best when you leave a voice note.
Now, we prefer voice notes, but some text did come in, so we'll go to those first. We would prefer the voice notes, but some of these we just had to get out.
And one more missed call. Thanks a lot, lads, whoever it is.
Hi, lads. Can you let Eileen know that there is at least 466 dogging spots in Cork, and not just the Mallow Road or the Marina? If she would like to help. If she would like to help me report on these other areas, she's more than welcome to come with me for Dickie's Dogging Podcast roving reports. Lads, the dogger Barry is far too in this swinger scene to not actually be a bit of a dogger himself.
There was an image came through with that message, right? And he'd obviously Googled, or I don't know, the thing came from swingers.com anyway, right? And he'd obviously Googled or something within this website or something, put in like dogging spots in thing. And there was a list of 4 or 5 cities. And Cork obviously had 466. I think I saw 96 in Derry.
It was every county in Ireland. Like it had location every single one.
Yeah, Carlow and all this stuff. Like, you know, and you're just looking at it going, This man knows way too much about this scene altogether to be spoofing, like, you know. So, but look, there's a proposition for Eileen anyway. If she's free any night. And like, how does it end up with Decky's Dogging Podcast? I've absolutely nothing to do. Like this is like, you know, welcome with me for Decky's Dogging Podcast roving
DDP.
reports. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ, like.
We give them petrol money and everything if they want to do it together, the two of them.
Oh, lads, stop, for God's sake. Poor Eileen.
Another one that came in. Clancy has to be listening to the pod. 3 at the back, or at least an inverted left back. 2 wingers, 2 up top. Did Wayne pick the team? ? Wayne, are you and Clancy
It's more
cahoots?
Decky. It's more Decky, to be honest with you.
Well, he has the insider information, I suppose, to be fair.
I'll say one thing, right? At the Wexford game, again, I was sitting behind a dugout and Jamie Hamill, right? Poor Cian Bargary, like, he's shouting at him across the pitch in words I don't understand. Now, I know he's from a foreign country, Scotland, but, like, no one can understand what he's saying. So I think, why can't I take that position for a couple of games? See what happens. You know?
You're fairly clear when you're angry as well, you know. You're good
I'm actually much clearer when I'm angry. I get mumbled when I'm talking normally. But yeah, poor Cian Bargary got awful. Like, he was getting shouted across the pitch, like, and I was like, poor Cian.
Decky, Clancy and Wayne in cahoots?
I'd say they are, massively. I'd say the whole not having a crest in his jacket thing was actually Tim. Tipping his hat to Wayne, you know. Yeah, there was a hat tip to Wayne and the rest of it, like, you know. So I'd say they're in cahoots, all right, definitely.
But here, he's into Football Manager as well. Like, who says we haven't met in the Football Manager spots, you know?
Oh, you've spoken online, have you? We better play these messages, I suppose, because I think there's about 4 minutes there.
Yeah. Go on.
I just want to say the last one of these. What's it called?
Drill.
Some kind
drill
of a rap
is
or
it?
something.
Drill rap.
It might
This was sensational.
just be the greatest thing I've ever heard. It might just be the greatest thing I've ever heard. There's a bit of dogging in the middle as well here as well, so, you know.
Right, lads. It's after 2 a.m. here, okay? I'm just after listening to the chicken episode. And in particular, I'm after listening to the call out to the club for the Cork City versus Toe Tap foot golf challenge match. Now, I'm not spoofing you here, okay? I play foot golf competitively, alright? I've represented Ireland at foot golf multiple times, and I have a buddy who's also a big Cork City fan, a season ticket holder, and the two of us go to Turner's Cross every Friday night, and we both play foot golf for the Irish team. I'll talk to him. I'd say we would be happy to officiate the Toe Tap versus Cork City foot golf match, 4v4. So, you know, there'll be no bullshit going on. Like, you'll have the proper rules officials there. The two of us practice down in Foot Golf Cork every week. Like, I'd say we'd be happy to get on board, officiate the game, and or another option, we could take either side. I'd say my buddy now, you know, he's a season ticket holder. He'd be more kind of on the side of the club, right? He could play for Cork City. I'll play for Toe Tap to make up the 4v4. And let's have at it.
Let's have at it.
How's it going, lads? This is Gareth the Dogger Barry reporting live from the Mallow Road for Decky's Dogging Watch. The place is after filling up an awful lot now at the moment. There's a lot of people here in anticipation that hopefully a car will turn up with people in it. There's no cars here at the moment, but there is a big crowd. Last week, alright, a car did turn up with 2 men in it, but unfortunately they were branchmen. I don't think they were into dogging. So this is Gareth Dogger Barry live from the Mallow Road for Decky's Dogging Watch. Oh, if possible too, can we get some food over here? Ice cream, hot dogs, anything at all, 99s, 69s. Alright, bye.
Yo. At the back we got Key and Coleman. Up front we have Super Jack. You can't stop City's attack. You can't break down their defense either. Everyone knows we're winning the league with all these. Yo. Everyone knows we're. Yo. At the back we got Key and Coleman. Up front we have Super Jack. You can't stop City's attack. You can't break down their defense either. Everyone knows we're winning the league with all these youngsters, Harvey Skeeters. Yo. With all of these. Yo. So what you gonna do, mate, when we're bringing on Jaden Ume? Nah. Jaden Ume's lethal. His legs are full of diesel. When he's cutting inside and you can't defend him, his pace is evil. Yo. Carl O'Sullivan, when he gets that ball and he's running in, defenders cannot run again when they get done by O'Sullivan or Evan McLaughlin. Shed end is rocking when he plays those balls and he scores those goals. City's table topping, City's table topping, City's table topping, top of the league, City's table topping, City's table topping, City's table topping, top of the league, City's table topping. Yo. Top of the league, let's go. UCD away, who's ready?
Wow, fair pacing.
Absolutely fantastic. That's brilliant. You know what we need to do? We need to back this guy, and we need to get the song released. I'm serious.
Yeah, I mean,
why not?
It's I don't know what a drill rap is. But yeah, that's impressive. To be fair, so
that's seriously impressive.
Yeah,
the dogging spot sounded very loud.
Oh, sure. That's people are short for Dickie's Dogging Podcast spotlight. You know, that's what they're there for.
Sounded surprisingly like Turner's Cross last Friday night, I have to say, but wouldn't be for me. The one that interested me was the first one: international foot golf, competitive foot golf, rules
serious, lads.
I mean, yeah, we could have it all. And it looks like season ticket holders play with the club or on the club side.
I think we have it's getting more legit. It's getting serious. But it's down to the club, because if they don't reply to us, it's like
Jesus Christ. I hope there's
breaking news.
During recording, a message came in WhatsApp from our very own Eileen Ring that was forwarded in from the Munster Football Association. Following a meeting of the Munster Football Association executive, it has been decided that Turner's Cross will be closed indefinitely. Unfortunately, we have had to make this decision in conjunction with and on the advice of our pitch contractors following the League of Ireland fixture that took place on Friday night last, where extensive areas of the pitch have been severely damaged. We wish to ensure all affected parties that while there is a period of extensive works needed, we endeavour to have Turner's Cross pitch restored and playable as soon as possible. Who's angrier? Decky?
Couple of things. Obviously, it's only about 40 minutes ago where I predicted that we would not play Longford in Turner's Cross, and we probably wouldn't play Finn Harps in Turner's Cross. Decky. But that statement to me is an absolute disgrace, and I'll tell you why. And it's this one line here. On the advice of our pitch contractors following the League of Ireland fixture that took place on Friday night last, where extensive areas of the pitch have been severely damaged. That pitch was in shit long before last Friday night. Now, I don't know whether the MFA are deliberately trying to pawn this off on Cork City, on the League of Ireland or what. But there was a Junior Cup final there last Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, where both teams were absolutely stunned that the game was played in Turner's Cross. Both teams expected to get phone calls to say you're heading for Mayfield to play on the Astro. That didn't come. That game went to extra time and it went to penalties. The penalty area at the shed end, which we've already spoken about, was so bad that for the first time in donkey's years, the penalties were taken into the St. Anne's Road end, right? That game should never have been played. From the minute that game was played, and we spoke to people after that game who said, the pitch is done. Forget about it. It's in a disgraceful situation already. That was on Monday. It rained all week. There was no pitch inspection called for the Turner's Cross pitch on Friday. At no point was it announced that there was a pitch inspection taking place. I can't understand that. How was there no pitch inspection to take place? And now they come out with a statement saying following the League of Ireland game last Friday night. It's not following the League of Ireland game last Friday night. It's following the MFA's poor preparation of the pitch and poor upkeep of the pitch for the last 10 months or so. It's not following last Friday night. So trying to pin it off and pawn it off like that, I think is an absolute disgrace, I'll be honest with you. But it's what the MFA do. It's what the FAI do. It's horrific. Well, like, to me, it's put my nose out of joint, and I know the MFA won't give a shit. Well, they do kind of give a shit what we say, because they moan and groan about it often enough from what we hear. So, to me, it's nothing to do with Cork City. Cork City are the tenants. They pay their rent. They were told they could use the pitch last Friday night. They did. It's not the League of Ireland's fault. It's not Cork City's fault. This is the MFA's fault, and the MFA is doing. And they've now shut the pitch to everybody, including Cork City, for the foreseeable future. There's no timeline. So look, to try and put it back on anybody with the MFA, I think is... what's the word I'm looking for?
I'll jump in there. I knew...
Unjustified. It's unjustified.
I knew it needed...
unjustified.
It needed a month. It needed a month. I knew that. I was told that it needed a month to repair. And it was going to happen. I didn't think it would happen this quick.
Who told you that, Decky?
I can't reveal sources. But I wouldn't be as scathing as Decky.
I've already put it up on our ToeTap Twitter account anyway. Well, already a few responses. Eileen Ring says, "I'm sorry for singing Homeless Hoops for all those years. I take it all back." Kevin McCarthy says, "How many years left do we have on the 20-year lease?" And Trevor Carey comes in and says, "Nice dig at blaming the LOI fixtures for the state of the pitch. What about the weather and all other games on it? And all of the games played on it recently?"
Exactly.
So, the biggest question is, where do we go next? Musgrave Park probably isn't possible because of the lining of the pitch. Cobh? Do we go back begging?
Cobh? Yeah.
Is there
Paul DC and the lads and say, "Look, lads, please can I have some more?" Do we go begging with her? They can charge us whatever they want. You know, they could say they could put a premium on it.
Or else we reverse fixtures and we go to Longford and we go to Finn Harps and we go wherever else we have to go. But the problem is it's closed indefinitely. We don't know. So, I have never seen such a shit show in all my time. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. 30 years we're around, Scott. We're around 30 years. Yeah. We've 60 odd years before. Never before in my life have I seen such a shit show. And as Trevor Carey rightfully says there, they try and pawn it off on the League of Ireland, on Cork City. No fucking way am I having that. No fucking way. And Cork City shouldn't allow it either. And I hope Cork City fire back, and I hope the League of Ireland fire back and say, "This is bullshit, lads. This is on you."
You have to be careful, though. You have to be careful. Like, what happens if you've no ground to go to for fucking 3 months? The priority now is to find somewhere to play. All emotions,
the money.
This is coming from me now. Like, all emotions have to stay intact here now from the club and actually find somewhere to play. Because we can't end up somewhere up in Mayfield playing with 100 people. Cobh is what? 4,000? We could lose a serious amount of money here. Like, so do we? If we get taken the MFA to court over this for loss of earnings, who knows? Like,
I was just going to say, I hope the contract, that 20-year contract, has stipulations and penalty clauses for the MFA if they can't provide a pitch. It probably doesn't, because we probably didn't foresee those kind of situations arising. No, we're not. But I do hope and pray that there are some kind of penalty clauses built into that contract that give Cork City some rights, because this is an absolute disgrace.
Seriously, though. Go home to Flower Lodge. Park your ring.
Do you think Park Creeve is an option because it's open to football?
I think it's an option. I think everything has to be an option.
Don't know.
Like, my worry now is, right? My worry is you reverse these fixtures, right? We've got a trip to Longford, you have a trip to UCD, you have a trip to Finn Harps. It's long trips.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And this is my point. This is my point earlier in the episode where I said it would have been better to pump some money into it to have it ready, because we could lose points in the road here and suddenly be level on points, be a point behind Finn Harps, and then you're in a bit of trouble. Not in trouble, but you're in a position you shouldn't be in. No, we could wipe the floor 3 or 4-0 every game. We could easily. But this is shit that I'm convinced that we're spending so much money on that now look what's happened.
That game should not have been played last Friday night. And I'm not after timing when I say that. I said that often enough. And the problem was how there was no pitch inspection called, I don't know. Then the teams get there, the referee, the match official arrives, looks to say, come on, we'll play it. Then we're 2-0 up after 13 minutes. We know Cobh wanted to pull at half time, or we're told that Cobh wanted to pull at half time. No referee is pulling that game when there's 3,500 people in the stadium, vast majority of whom are home fans, and the home team are 2-0 up. Unless you end up playing water polo or you're swimming the backstroke trying to attack, the referee's not calling it off at half time. His attitude is, let's just get through it. And that's what happens, but it shuts the pitch then indefinitely. Like, I'm so annoyed at that statement. That one line in that statement has sent me over the edge because they're acting the absolute. Sorry.
But here's a question: is it the right choice, the right decision
to close it?
It probably is. It probably is, Declan.
It is. It is, but it should never have got to that stage.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Like it's. I think the women's game against Treaty is in a month's time. That's the TV game. That's the first women or SSE Artistically Women's Premier Division television game of the season. First time Cork City were going to be on TV. First time Treaty were going to be on. Second time Treaty were going to be on TV. First time the TV cameras were going to be in Cork. Is it going to be open for that game? I don't know, but that's the game that it now has to be, say, concentrated on. It's just a thing. And as I said, I just get so annoyed, and I know I let my emotions get away from me, but blaming the League of Ireland and blaming Cork City? F*** off, just f*** off.
Can't disagree with any of that.
Yeah. Thomas comes in and says, could this not have been predicted beforehand? It's not like the heavens opened up as the game kicked off. Postponing the match would have been annoying, but we'd take that over having the pitch butchered by halftime and unplayable because of it. Also, the sheer amount of games played on it this year already, little to no planning, and just doing everything wrong as usual. Jack Keller says St. Coleman's Park for City, and Liam Roach says Herd Mallowtown Park is available.
Get 2 for 1 there. Yeah, it's mad stuff, isn't it?
Mallowtown Park would be a nice one for you, though.
Mallowtown Park, we could all pile in park in Tesco's and walk across.
We're dogging spot in there.
Make sure you pay. No, you better make sure you pay your. You better make sure you pay your parking.
It has to be Cobh, doesn't it?
Unlike some people out there.
It probably has to be Cobh, but the fundamental point that Scotty made an hour ago when this pod started is it all comes back to we don't own any facilities, and until such time as we do, we are at the behest of other people and other organisations.
Can we just make this the quickest UCD preview of all time? Look, lads, what are we expecting out of this one? UCD, surely. What are we saying? 2 goals, 3 goals?
Go for it, 3-0. Go for it, yeah. I'd go similar kind of style. Will we stick Nathan Wood on the left? Fundamentally is the word of the day. We need to go up there and win. But I have a feeling it's going to be a draw, 0-0, 1-1, kind of same as Wexford, same as Finn Harps, same as all our away fixtures, really. A more defensive style, not enough tempo. That's the way I see it. Fundamentally. Dan, remember,
Declan.
I don't know, was it maybe 6 weeks ago or so? Scotty missed the pod, and we both predicted that we draw 1-1 in an away game at Finn Harps. And Scotty came back and said he was so angry listening to people running down Cork City by saying that 1-1 draw away to Finn Harps would be acceptable. And here he is now. 1-1 away to UCD is fine.
They're students. They're students.
Hang on.
They're running college.
What did I say? We should go up there and win 2 or 3-0, but I think it'll be 1-1. It's a big difference. Not acceptable. Big difference.
Oh, you've changed your tune.
That's what I said.
Right.
Press rewind there now and see what I said.
No. Himself and Tim are definitely in cahoots, man. Definitely. This is Tim Clancy talking now. That's Scotty.
That's why I was behind the dugout.
That's why we were so close. And Decky, look, have to be blowing these lads away short. We're not blowing them away, maybe, but shagging win anyway.
to be fair, they were the better team in Turner's Cross, and we were lucky to get out with a 1-0. I think, look, fundamentally the same team, same lineup, same way of playing, and the same result-ish. I'm going to say UCD 2, Cork City 4. But I think, we'd be looking to win this game again. And as I said, we win this game, we bury UCD. UCD wake up on Saturday morning not believing they can win the league for a second.
Ian Crowley comes in on Twitter again and says, "Is this really a surprise? Their patch-up job during the off-season don't feck all in any way of improving the playing surface. Never an ideal situation when you don't have ownership over your home ground. What now for Cork City?" Here, lads, that club statement is going to be interesting though.
If they put one out, I don't know whether they will or they won't, to be honest with you.
Well, they should, and they should hopefully get a bit narky back with them.
I'd say nothing. Just keep it in-house and just, what's the point in getting narky? The last thing we need to do is just turn to a war off the pitch, and the gates of Turner's Cross are locked on us, and we're paying Cobh a premium. You know what I mean? You got to be sensible here, like.
Mm-hmm.
Now if they lock us out, then we start throwing the flares and stuff. Then we go all out, toe tap at the front, and we march in there. But until then, you got to stay calm. You got to be collected, and everyone stand back.
DC will look after us. DC still secretly Cork City at heart. You know, he will look after us.
Right, we now go to Cobh Watch, the section formerly known as Jacking Off with Decky, just to find out what they got up to this week.
Oh, this podcast is so shit.
It's award-winning.
It's award-winning. It is. Hell. And they can never take it away from us.
Is the music playing, or I was just...
Oh no, I thought you were using the music for Penenka Patrol these days, like, and not...
I just wanted to hear Jacking Off with Decky. Look, doesn't matter how shy you know, just play Jacking Off. We'll throw it all in.
I've been jacking off, beating my meat.
His favourite player is Jack Doherty.
What else can I do?
He wants to jack off with you. Decky, how did Cobh Ramblers get on this week?
They were unlucky. They were beaten 3-0 by a far superior outfit. Really didn't get themselves in the game at all. Former player theirs, a hero last season for them, opened the scoring. He hit the crossbar later on. He was unlucky with another chance that he had when the ball dropped him in the penalty area, but I think the poor condition of the pitch probably played a role in that.
Jeez, do you think the Munster FA will have to do something about that pitch? Or it's in a bit of a...
I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be fine, to be honest with you. They'll probably roll it on Thursday, and it should be available then on Saturday for some women to run around and try kick the ball on, you know. So I think that's the way they would see it. That's not the way we see it. That's the way they would see it. So look, I think I think the pitch will be fine. There's no evidence to say to the contrary. So look, poor Friday night for Cobh, but rumour has it they might be about to come into some extra money from renting out their new facility. So there might be bonus cash coming their way. You never know.
Sean comes in on Twitter and says, "We're still the only full-time team in the first division who know have to ask a sound team about renting their pitch." Jesus Christ.
Like, this is huge. We have no football pitch.
But we're massive.
No, but seriously, this is absolutely huge. There's going to be issues with sponsors who have advertising hoardings. There's going to be issues with people who have... Do you know, like, the catering companies?
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
This is massive, like. And our ground is locked. There's no football ground.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there was a new food stall apparently put into Turner's Cross. Did any of you get the chance to sample it?
Completely missed it.
No.
Gareth the Dogger Barry was looking for nachos. It was a pizza. I don't know. Did he get his wish?
This was potatoes. What did they call it? You know,
was it potato?
Jacket potatoes with toppings and that kind of stuff.
Okay. That sounds nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Look, let's just go to the mailbag.
yeah. Postman pattern in black and white cat.
You can't mix race.
Early in the morning, one bag of man is yawn.
Poor Hugh Coleman says, again, thanks to brown suede waistcoat wearing buttermilk master baker Decky and all of you for your getting to know you answers, obviously. Like, lads, what's the song you turn up loud when it comes on? And what's the song you have to turn off when it comes on?
There's one song. Aha, Take On Me. Like, it's a banger.
Oh, classic, yeah. Classic.
Absolute banger, like. I've noticed in the last few years, it's in a lot of animation cartoons the kids watch. You'd hear it come out every so often. It's in Mario, it's in a few of them. Absolute banger.
Plus, just when they want an 80s vibe, they'll just go for that.
Yeah, exactly.
What song are you turning off?
Any heavy metal stuff, to be honest. I would say anything, even stuff is not heavy metal, like, but stuff is like, heavy metal, kind of shit.
You look like you'd be into it.
No,
with the beard.
I'd be into all the kind of old stuff and a bit of reggae and a bit of, chilling out. I used to love the old trance in the 90s. I think it's called, it's a different name. They've renamed it.
Oh, you were definitely doing Yorks.
No, I wasn't. I never touched in my life. Never once. What they call it now, Dan? They used to call trance. The kind of Kevin and Perry music.
Just rave music, is it?
It's not rave either. It's kind of...
It's like house music, electronic, EDM.
Stuff. But it used to be just trance, and it used to be yeah.
Decky, what song are you turning off?
Turning off. First one that jumps to mind anyway is that cack that Celine Dion had in that film about the boat. I was in my heart was going on.
The boat.
Yeah, boat.
What's your favourite?
Two trying to get to America, couldn't get there. No, that's the one I'm turning off. Definitely, absolute cack. And
I don't know.
the one I'm turning up would be Empty Chairs at Empty Tables. Michael Ball's version from the 10th anniversary live show of Les Mis.
You made that up.
No, I didn't. Empty Chairs at Empty Tables is a very well-known number. What did it say? King Coleman wants to get to know me. Here I am, laid bare, with my love of Les Mis.
The Master Baker laid bare.
Oh man, that came out all wrong. No, again, I can't win in these things.
Do you know what's a good song too? Top Gun. The Top Gun soundtrack.
Danger Zone.
Oh yeah, Kenny Loggins, great tune.
Boring King Coleman
great songs out there.
Comes in. This is on the pitch now. They should grow the grass really long on one of the wings and then execute the grass comb over for fully lush and perfectly natural covering. This photo of Bobby Charlton is a good example. Barrett, I don't throw flares. Barry says, I would blame them. I presume he means to say I wouldn't. They wanted it called off during the first half. The pitch was unplayable and a danger to the players. There was a lot of heated discussions between the MFA and FAI and City and Queenstown. He's on Munster side, the Munster FA side.
So he's saying that the MFA wanted it called off at halftime.
It looks
so
like
if
it.
That's the case, why did they not schedule a pitch inspection during the day? Why did they not just call it off?
You
at
can't
3 o'clock
call
on
off
Friday?
halftime.
They have all those options available to them. Like, we were told it was Cobh wanted it off. I don't know. Somebody wanted it off at some stage anyway. Fair play to the referee for saying absolutely not. Like, there would have been war.
Yeah.
2-0 up in a local derby and you call it off at halftime? Man, you want some set of cojones on you to do that, like. And, no, the MFA had all week to call it off. They should never have played their cup final there on Monday. They did. The pitch was a disgrace after that. It rained all week. Look, I'm sorry. I'm never changing my mind and nobody will ever say anything to make me change it. So this one's on the MFA and
You're
the
right.
MFA alone.
You're 100% right, Decky.
Do you want to know Colm Nolan's answer?
He's a Rovers fan.
I know. We'll let you play home match and tell it.
Oh, dirty
just
fucker.
Well, come here's the thing. They played one in Turner's Cross, homeless hoops. We're not at that stage yet, so...
Garrett, I don't throw flares. Barry out says move to Musgrave Park. The FAI won't let this happen, but it will affect the women. Duncan Noonan says play the games on the fields of Buin. Jack says, do you know what this will mean for LYTV streams for home matches? They might improve, actually, if we do leave. Jack Keller, better Wi-Fi. Danger's a bit far, but I think it was too late to be called off at halftime. They made a mistake playing it in the first place. We'll go back to our normal mailbag. Jason Shannon says, can I use Patreon privileges to ask that you bring back the 2 words jingle word up by Cameo? Also, can Eileen name her all-time Cork City women's team?
Eileen will do that in the next. She will do that on the next episode of Las Damas. We've already discussed it.
I'm not here in 2 weeks, so she can do it then.
Okay, I don't get what the first bit is about. I'm lost in that.
There was wasn't there a jingle we had last? We asked Santa.
All right, okay. Here's the thing, though. I'm getting WhatsApp messages now from Cobh fans mocking us about incoming performance. Are you going to beg us for our pitch and the rest of it? Like, you know, like I'll never forgive the MFA for this. Never, ever.
Philly Crowley goes on to say it's WrestleMania weekend, so which current or past City player could do a job in WWE? Wayne.
Which City player?
Mm-hmm.
I've watched that shit in years. Bradley Wade.
It's probably not the answer everyone was hoping for.
I just think he could be one of those cage match. I don't know. I haven't watched it since Razor Ramon and Macho Man and Mr. Perfect, to be honest with you. Great times.
First one that popped into my head when you read the question was Dan Murray. For some reason, just think he would be,
ex-City player.
Probably any past or present. Probably Dan Murray as part of some kind of a group, where there used to be 3 or 4 of them together causing havoc, like, like
NWO style.
Yeah, or if you wanted a current one, I could see Evan McLaughlin in a kind of Rey Mysterio role, flying off the top corner or flying off the top rope and somersaulting around the place and things like that. So maybe a Dan Murray, Evan McLaughlin combo.
You could do Murray with his elbows, his finishing move.
Yeah, and have them managed, obviously, by Decky Carey. And, maybe they could do a heel turn. If Dan Murray did a heel turn in the Marina Market... he's down the Marina Market, like shooting a piece, and he's putting all the gear into the tent or whatever. Like, next thing he heel turns and he pulls the tent down. He's roaring at Usher, I told you not to do it and you did it anyway, so screw you. And he rips the whole place apart and pulls everything Cork City belong out of the Marina Market and throw it all over the car park. And as he walks away, then the commentators are kind of like Phil Long is going, oh my God, Rory, what's he done? And I don't know. Does that work?
This is very detailed.
Yeah, that's way too detailed. No, I don't know. Anyway, next question. Christ almighty.
Well, turning heel is when the fans are supposed to be against you. I think most fans would be happy about that. Roy O'Sullivan says, Sean Maguire's Carlisle have been relegated and it looks like he's coming home. What are the chances it could be to us? You're Winston.
I'm going to be controversial here and say, like, we're League of Ireland first. Like, would you want him?
What?
Would you want him?
Are you alright, Declan?
Yeah.
But sure, we have a lack of.
We have no striker.
This isn't Shawnee Maguire 7 years ago, lads.
Doesn't matter. It's a first division.
Shawnee's one of the best players we've ever seen.
This is what Stephen Kenny said 8 years ago. 9 years ago.
No.
This is what Stephen
Shawnee
Kenny
was
said.
one of the
this is what Dundalk
best.
said.
Shawnee was one of the best players we've ever seen. Without fail, one of the best we've ever seen. He hasn't done anything in 2 years. Now, of course, you take him, but there's a cost associated with that. And my question is it cost effective to do that? I don't know. I couldn't see him coming into the first division anyway. John Caulfield would take him at Galway in a heartbeat. And I think other Premier Division clubs would take him as well. So,
but a first division club wouldn't.
Some way down the list. I'm asking from my point of view, my opinion. I'm saying we would take him. We would take him if it was cost effective for us to do so, and it doesn't break budgets and everything else. Because as Damien has said, we don't like to break budgets. So all that has to be borne in mind as well. Like, but this isn't Shawnee of 2017. Damien Delaney and his podcast appearance.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't this isn't Shawnee at 2017. The world moves on. Everybody gets older. Shawnee's gotten older. His hamstrings have got worse. You know? I just think that's a big consideration.
Jack Elner says, are we fundamentally appointed? I presume he means to say disappointed, but misspelled it. Dylan says, the pitch. We had DMs. This, of course, was anonymous. We have absolutely no idea who sent this in. Reference Queenstown Massacre. Our boys listened to the just criticism meted out to them over their lacklustre performances so far, especially v Wexford, but boy did they turn up in the mire of Turner's Cross and perform like lions, chasing ball, attacking the opposition, thus giving them no sheds whatsoever, settling. Let's hope they know that as loyal fans we expect that commitment each time they wear a City jersey. But what I saw in Ballybuffet, Limerick and up at Wexford, etc. didn't reflect that. Wexford did my headed referencing lack of urgency, sauntering around the gaff. But Friday night our Warriors were teamed this as big time. P.S. Eileen, hashtag Team Pussy gone forever.
Who was that?
Was from an anonymous DMer.
Did they not finish up with Team Pussy gone forever? No Team Dogs Bollocks. Wasn't that was the end of it? No,
they must have deleted. That must be retracted. That must have been a retracted statement.
I definitely saw him call it Team Dogs Bollocks anyway after that. But look,
I think I agree. Yeah,
that contributor is why I say don't get too high and don't get too low, depending on the results, because they are high, low, never stop. But brilliant.
It's the life of football, man. Fair play to him. Comes in and says, "Oh shit, I'm not supposed to be anonymous." And anonymous somebody comes in and says, "Hi lads, a couple of suggestions for the pod. As part of match previews, maybe you could say who's the danger man to watch out for on the opposition. Maybe mention any former City players playing for the opposition. 2 as an alternative to the 2-word answer. How about occasionally asking the listeners using a song title or a movie to describe the performance?" That might be a good one, actually.
I like that.
Yeah. I like that as well.
If you were taking on any of these on board, please don't mention me. I prefer to remain anonymous. It's too late for that, mate.
Thanks, Dave. Come on, Dan.
Keep up the great work. We had one more. I think that movie one is a very good shout.
Yes.
Oh yeah, sorry, just one more as of now. I think somebody comes in and says, any idea yet what will affect Longford Harps? He's referring to the Munster FA decision there. No.
It's very, very worrying. I think it has to be taken very seriously.
Yeah, we're a fair bit in there now. More stuff on Twitter about the Munster FA decision. Gareth, I don't trust Flair's Barry, should have been called at 70-80 minutes when it is the result stands. The pitch was grand for the first 10 minutes or so. Joey Brown says, can we borrow the floodlights for a while? Richie says, Parky Queeve would be the job. Make a big effort to fill it for a few games and make the club some decent money. Patrick says, back to Bishopstown. Richie says, it's been shit for ages. Before that, it was already a joke. They're a disgrace.
I'm not sure you can call a game off after 80 minutes.
No, the result doesn't stand after 80 minutes. Result stands at the final whistle. Any time up to that, it's not a result. It might be different maybe in the junior leagues. I don't know, but I know because we were asked about it the other night. We had to look it up. If he pulled out with 5 minutes to go, then either you run the risk of having to play the 5 minutes. You could have to play the full 90 again. The league might decide there was enough play to 3-0 up and declare it. But the referee has no autonomy to do that and say the result will stand.
We didn't get to hear it last week because you were on our holidays, but what was Gok Wayne's opinion of Tim Clancy's jacket, the crest being off completely?
They were cahoots. They were all in on it together.
I can't confirm nor deny he had a crest or not, lads. I'm not gonna. No, can't say it, lads. Sorry.
I'm not sure what he's up to, but he's up to something. But fair play to him.
Let's just go with that. Yeah, I will wrap it up there. We're in 1:45, and
Jesus Christ,
there's so much more tweets and stuff coming in. We just don't have time to get them all. Thanks a million for listening to this episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Be sure to check us out on Patreon as well, patreon.com/ToeTap. There's nothing else left to say.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Ciao, 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 ciao.